Hello, everyone. This is my week 5 reflection discussing weight bias and weight stigma. Reflecting on my previous SEL experiences regarding weight bias, I've had the opportunity to work with some really great preceptors, one of which is my clinical preceptor, Kylie, and she has been really influential in this way with me. Um, her master thesis was actually on a health at every size approach in bigger bodied patients. And I have learned a lot about how to work with patients and meet them where they're at, and also how to show empathy and building rapport. One of the things that initially caught me off guard meeting with Kylie was she never initially seemed to give clients what I felt was direction or instruction, but in reflecting back and learning more about motivational interviewing, she meets every patient exactly where they're at and helps them from a unique standpoint of what their understanding is, and also really building that rapport. And on more than one occasion, as I've noted here, patients have said things like, my doctor, he's just in and out so quickly, and I don't think he really listens to what I have to say. And I've really seen that patient client relationship with Kylie in that way. In reflecting on the food heaven and weight bias videos and podcasts from this week, there's a few things that stuck out to me initially. First of all, from the Food Heaven podcast, one of the things that stuck out to me most was thinking on how there's a gap between what more poverty stricken communities need, lower socioeconomic classes, and what we tend to offer them. A lot of times I feel like we go in thinking we know best. And like she stated in the podcast, we give them the pamphlets and the information, and we treat them as if they don't have education, when honestly, a lot of the issue might be related to affordability and what they can afford socioeconomically. And I think that's the bigger issue. How to solve that is, how do we make healthy foods more affordable in these communities, not necessarily an education standpoint. And then the weight bias podcast, one of the big keys that stuck out to me was understanding the balance of what we need to educate our clients and patients about from a physical health standpoint, and balancing that though also with their mental health, is constantly giving them dieting, dieting advice and putting them in a diet culture going to negatively impact their mental health. And how do we balance that with their physical health, and understanding both and the interplay of both? Finally, motivational interviewing in regards to weight bias. Again, just kind of reflecting on my own learning and continued knowledge. First of all, asking open-ended questions and things like, what brought you here today, or tell me about what experiences you have, really trying to meet the client and patient where they're at and understanding their perspective. Again, using affirmations like, you have really put a lot into effort into working on your physical activity habits, keep up the good work, or I understand how frustrating it might be to have providers in the past that don't listen to you. Thanks for trusting me. Really building that confidence and that self-efficacy. Reflective listening as well. This can help demonstrate empathy and understanding, and really, again, build that rapport. And using phrases like, so what I'm hearing is you're feeling frustrated about such and such, or if I understand correctly, you're worried that, and then restate their worry or frustration. And then finally, summarizing at the end of an appointment, just to make sure that they feel heard and that they are understanding and your understanding of where they are. So, what we've talked about today is how you have felt about and the progress that you've made with. And I think the plan that we discussed of doing is a great step moving forward. So again, reflecting, making sure that you are having that open dialogue with the client and trying to understand their perspective and past experiences that might have led them to feel any sort of weight bias or weight stigma, instead of just looking at charts or trying to dictate and give them what you feel is best in terms of nutrition advice.